Before the actual video of the run starts, I just wanted to give a little preface to this video. When I decided to start speedrunning Donkey Kong Country 3 about like a month ago, I decided it'd be a fun idea to kind of chronicle my journey. That is, try to make every run I do available for people to watch. So that's what this is all about. This was a run I did offline earlier this week, but I managed to record it locally, and now I'm going to do some commentary on it. It's going to be pretty sparse. It's mostly just going to be me watching it back and reacting to it. But I think one of the things with speedrunning is it's very interesting to watch how you improve. So that's why I've decided that, I'm going to put up all of my runs, and that way I can see how I improve, and everyone else can see how I have improved since I started running this game. So I hope you enjoy the run, which will be starting anytime now. Okay, so right off the bat, there's going to be a little trick that comes up with Wrinkly Save Cave. By holding like all the face buttons and holding left about like a quarter to a half of a second after the music stops, you'll skip Wrinkly's dialogue. It's faster. The first two worlds, there's not a whole lot to say. They're kind of a skeleton of what you would think they would be, because we're just going to be using the in-game warps to get through it as quick as possible, which you'll see. So I'm not going to have a ton to say during Worlds 1 and 2, but I'll point out little things that come up. When I was younger, I had pretty much no idea that these warps existed. I may have found them accidentally once or twice as a kid, but I didn't really know their existence. As you can see, World 1 isn't really that complicated. A lot of simple things to get to the warps. The boss coming up isn't difficult, but you can easily I find I can easily make small mistakes against it, but this time was pretty good. It is possible to glitch the game by if you put a bug into the boss's mouth on the same frame that it lands on the ground, you can glitch the battle and make it unwinnable. So you just have to kill yourself or reset, which in a speedrun you're gonna reset, so. I forget where I die for the first time in this run. I've yet to pull off a deathless run of this game, but so I know once I pull off no deaths that my time is going to come down by quite a bit. So I'm working on that. But I know it's not for a little while. I know it's definitely not in the first two worlds, because a death in the first two worlds is like an instantaneous reset. For the first two worlds of the game, you see a lot of Kitty. Like, Kitty is used exclusively in the first two worlds. But the first half of the game is more for Kitty, and then the second half of the game is very Dixie focused. Although it goes back and forth. Both Kongs have their uses. Okay, the second boss of the game, Arik, is fairly slow if you do it the intended way, but we're not going to do that, because you can actually use throws to get the barrels to him a lot sooner than the game intends you to. And this was pretty much a perfect fight. Like, I was super pleased with how that went. So we get the patch. As you saw when we started up the game, we came to this little section of the map on a speedboat, but the speedboat isn't good enough for the next area, so we need to get an upgraded vehicle, and that's what the patch is going to do for us. So eventually Funky is going to take that patch out of our inventory and use it to fix up the hovercraft. Or hover cart, as I tend to call it. And this thing does not steer very well. But luckily that was a really good steer. The problem with the hovercraft is you can get caught on the kind of walls of the world map. Alright. Swimming levels are kind of the bane of my existence. And I need to I've been realizing it more and more lately with my runs, but I need to practice this world, I think, a little bit more. Not just in a run capacity. There's a small trick here that I don't get. If you hug the wall very tightly, you can actually go under that fish. And it saves some time. Also, I am going to have to swap back to Kitty before the end of the level, so it would say it. Excuse me. It saves time in that regard too, since the game freezes for a second whenever you swap characters. There's a small trick there where if you... Oh, okay, so I got hit. So I end up with Kitty. Anyways. And I'll just get Dixie in the next level. There's a small trick you can do when you're coming out of that kind of corridor, where if you turn right at the right time, you change the pattern of the fish below you, so you can go past the first wave of fish without seeing them. Obviously, that's a little bit faster than having to wait. Alright. This level showcases the first of some tricks that are going to be fairly consistent throughout the run, which is called damage boosting, where we're intentionally taking hits to go to different places. This game has a mechanic where if you get hit, your character will tend to jump upwards. So we use the speedrunners. We use the damage boosting to go to higher locations, or to like extend a jump further than it would normally go. There's another one coming up here, and we're gonna get over to that barrel. So as you can see, sacrificing your characters at the right time can be pretty useful for getting places in this game. Well, that team throw gets Dixie up to the higher platform quicker. So, and we took a hit intentionally with Kitty because I don't want Kitty in the next level. He lags the game in the next level because there's quite a few sprites going on. So this level we do with Dixie by herself, which can get a little hairy because of the TNT barrels, the clasps. Because obviously if you hit them, it's a problem. Luckily they're predictable, so. If you know the level layout and just know when to jump, you'll be fine. And Dixie's mobility in this level is obviously much more useful than what Kitty could do, so. We are gonna get Kitty back in this level, just not right away. There's a small trick I attempt here, but I don't get it. You can actually go over this second B, but I haven't gotten the trick in a while. And what it would do is, it would allow me to shoot into that first B and ride the damage boost into the second barrel, so I actually get up quicker. Now that was actually a mistake. Normally I would want to get through that section with Kitty. I just didn't put in a far enough input on to the right, so I end up with the wrong Kong to start this level. It's not a big deal. For those who've never played Donkey Kong Country 3, or even if you have, you might need a reminder on how this level works. That fish that's following us, he gets hungry, which you'll notice by his colors changing from blue to increasing shades of red. That was an unintentional hit, but it kind of works. I do want Kitty. The problem is the fish can't eat urchins, they make him upset. So you kind of need to engineer and try to make sure he eats what he's supposed to be eating, because when he gets to a full shade of red, he will attack you. The problem is he doesn't listen very well. That was a mistake. So yeah, as you can see, there's little I'm pointing out my little mistakes because they are happening. But all things considered, that wasn't a bad go at that level. And I didn't get any hits due to the fish getting angry, so. If you notice, Kitty is walking right now. He's not actually in the water. He only goes back into the water once the rocks disappear. The boss battle against Squirt is pretty simple. If you do that soft right jump, you'll always land on the bottom platform properly. Then here you just have to shoot water into his eyes, which is done by aiming like diagonally upright, that is, and hitting the R button, and you use the L button to drink more water. So this is not a complicated boss fight. Honestly, there's like hardly anything to optimize with that boss fight other than I could probably be firing faster, but I think I just need to work on that and maybe get a more responsive controller. Alright. This is a really cool level when done properly. It's a lot of quick movements, it's a lot of there's damage boosting, there's a special team throw, there's a lot of rolling, and there's a lot of dodging, and it just looks really cool. Plus the music in this level is amazing. Of course, the whole soundtrack to this game is pretty good. So here we're going to be doing kind of an interesting roll, which I actually messed up. I forgot about that. Normally I would just be kind of wiggling left and right, and I would kind of fall while in a roll, and then I can jump out of the roll at the bottom, which is faster than descending it any other way. But I did mess that up, so on the next set of fireballs, we're going to take a damage boost upwards. That dodge is pretty close. There I wasn't as quick as I would have liked to be, so I had to wait. Normally you can beat the cycle of those fireballs. Do I take a death in this level? I almost feel like I take a death here. No, okay. Must have been a different run. Probably one that I didn't finish. Unless it's not that early. Anyways, not much to say about this level. I'm just jumping when the time is right. This is one of like a couple auto-scrolling levels in the game. And it's followed up by another auto-scrolling level, which makes this world, Mykonos, kind of annoying. There's two levels that are very set pace. And that picking up the barrel was an accident. I tried to do a spin or a roll, and I did it too close to the barrel, so I picked it up instead. That was weird. That normally does not happen. So now I'm doing the part of the level with Kitty. Normally I would still have Dixie here, but I took that hit completely accidentally. Tried to throw the barrel to get rid of the rat. I can tell taking that hit with Dixie kind of threw me off a little bit. And I'm just waiting to get her back at this point. Because I'm very tentative and missing a few things. But I think that's kind of the shock of not having the right character. This is a very inventive auto-scroller, because the concept is just nuts. There is a completely horizontal saw sawing a bunch of parallel trees in half. I think there was like a small frame drop there. My computer is not quite the powerhouse I would like it to be anymore. It was good for the time, but I have had it like for 4 years now. So. And there we go up quickly before the screen gets up there, and we grab the flagpole anyway. This is a Dixie level. This level is very focused around Dixie, although I feel like I actually lose her near the end. We get to listen to the awesome factory theme again. So yeah, I think I go for a quick cycle here and I get hit. No, okay, I didn't do it. What you can do is you can actually beat that barrel, but it didn't happen. I didn't go for it. So I don't think I lose Dixie in this, unless I get... no. Occasionally you can end up grabbing a rope that doesn't exist, trying to roll down there with Dixie. I don't know what causes it. I don't know why it happens, but it happens. And if you do accidentally grab this rope that's not real, you're certainly taking a hit. Okay, yeah, that was weird. I didn't quite make the jump, and then I got kind of thrown off. But whatever. If you didn't see the name of this level or aren't aware of the gimmick here, it's the level is called Logi Labyrinth, and yeah, there's very little gravity. You're very floaty, which strangely enough makes you fly much slower. I understand why you descend slower. I do not understand why you can't seem to fly upwards as fast. If you line up properly in the middle, you don't get hit by the bees. A good way that I used to do it, which didn't work there because I was off a little bit, but if you're facing to the left, kind of the rightmost point of his front, like the front of his talons, if it lines up with kind of the right side of the kind of divider thing in the middle of the upright tunnels, I find that that tends to work. Alright, I know I don't have a very good chaos. I get 3 hits on the first phase, which is enough to stop the first phase. But then from there, I'm not able to get any more team throws. So, while not the slowest you can do chaos, it's still pretty slow. But yeah, there's a glitch in the non-Japanese versions of the game where with correct timing you can team throw in the air and maintain your height. So it's used for some levitation. Mainly only with this boss does it come into play. Here, I was going for a second hit, but I didn't get it. So now I'm just gonna kind of mess around. And I'm gonna go for the trick again try to get hits 5 and 6, and I missed this too. So this was not an ideal chaos fight. Don't know really why that throw was so poor. Getting hit with Kitty there is fine. I need to switch to Dixie anyways to start the next world. So there's chaos. And that's the first 4 worlds of the game down. Now we need another vehicle. In this case we need the turbo ski, which is the only vehicle that can go up the waterfalls necessary to get to the 3rd area of the world map, where the last 3 worlds are. If you're not familiar with the category definitions for this game, I should have brought this up sooner, but this is an any % speedrun, which just means that we finish the game at Chaos Core when we beat K. Rool for the first time. There is a secret world called Krematoa, and you actually can fight K. Rool there again. And that is done in the 103% category, but not in this category. This category just aims for completion of the main game in the fastest time possible. You could theoretically call this 43%, but any percent sounds better. But at the end of the game, your percentage is 43. Like, that's what you end on. As you can see, Dixie climbs these ropes particularly well. She's very fast at jumping up horizontal ropes, so she's kind of a requirement for these levels. I'm just going to admire the game's soundtrack for a minute. Coming up next is another auto-scroller. It's another toboggan-based level. I find it weird how the first auto-scroller with a toboggan is somehow in, like, underground piping. Like, they don't use a toboggan in its, you know, expected setting until the second time they use it, which I find kind of strange. But this is much like the first auto-scroller of this type in the game, where you're just jumping at the right times. A badly timed jump can cause a lot of things to go wrong, but I think I do fairly well in this stage. I am going to be taking a hit intentionally up here on the next set of crocodiles. It's because I want Kitty to start the next stage, and I want Dixie behind him. So we do an intentional hit followed by that DK barrel to set up our configuration for the next level. And yeah. Sometimes I go for a jump onto the robin and then onto the flagpole, but I had found I'd been messing that up, so I stopped going for it. Or at least I didn't go for it in this run. Now, I feel like I make a mistake in this level. I don't know if it's a major mistake, but I feel like I'm... Oh, okay, I think I remember what happens. But we'll wait and see. So we're using team throws to basically mess with this level. By team throwing to higher points... Yeah, that was a mistake. I threw Dixie improperly there. But yeah, especially the team throws with those barrels there allow us to skip a good percentage of the stage, because we're already at the end. Crack Shot Croc. This is a level that took me a while to learn, but it's a very satisfying level. It's a very neat looking level when done optimally. I'm using an input trick where I press L and then I press R right afterwards, and it allows me to create a platform basically right underneath my feet. Okay, that was a mistake, but I managed to save myself. Just gonna go through that enemy. It's a little risky, but yes, by using the platform under your feet trick, or instant platforms as it's called, you can kind of make some jumps that are very, very close. Instead of having to wait for a lot of certain things to line up, you just go. Here we take the hit intentionally and sprint across there. My only problem is I wanted Dixie for the next level, but because I took an extra hit, I start with Kitty. So you're gonna see me get Dixie back and then get Kitty killed off. Unfortunately not for good. I do end up getting him later in the level as a mistake. But this is another level where Kitty lags the game. And Dixie's helicopter spin, quite useful for dealing with the penguins, who have weird hitboxes and can be very dangerous. Didn't jump high enough. Now, I think I take a hit intentionally with Kitty too. Yeah, okay. To reduce lag, I decided to get hit with Kitty. Not sure what happened there. We go over Kitty there. And it's just a simple bounce on some penguins and the goal. I think what happened earlier is I didn't put in an input fast enough after my roll, and I ended up sliding and couldn't get out of the slide until it was finished. This is the best boss in the game, bar none. Just a lot of pattern recognition. Like, Bleak is very great because he's very predictable. Other than this, where he can appear during the not canon sections is random, and certain places on the screen are harder to hit than other places. But all in all, Bleak is a pretty good boss fight. And then he laughs himself to death, so, you know, that's pretty cool. Alright, we're deathless through 5, but I know World 6 is where things start to go a little south. So we're heading over there to Razor Ridge. So this is another parrot level, but we get to be a bit faster this time. Meant to grab the barrel on the way over, but the game can be very finicky on your position. Your position needs to be just right when you pass over the barrel, or you're not going to pick it up. That was an intentional hit, so I could get down here quicker. This barrel is pretty much necessary. There's like no good way around that bee. Alright, I feel like I do die coming up soon. But unless things go really, really badly, I tend to not reset at this late. World 6 is definitely late enough in the run that I would rather just finish it and see what my result. That was terrible, by the way. I meant to go to that bee's left and sneak down the wall beside him, but I didn't input correctly, so that was a pretty disappointing first death. Like, of all the places to do it, that's one of the easier spots in the level to get by the bee, as you could see there. So at that point, I was a little discouraged. It took me a while to line that trick up, where I just go down the wall. From here, though, it's pretty much a safe shot to victory. Take a hit, go through. Kitty is not the optimal Kong, but he'll have to do. With Dixie and the right kind of jump, you can bounce on that copter instead of waiting for him, but it's really, really tricky. So I don't typically go for it. I'm trying to get take a few more calculated risks though in runs. Here is another auto scroller. It is the best. It's not the best. I don't have a lot to say about this level. There are some TASs, some tool-assisted speedruns of this game available on YouTube. If you want to see the best way to do this level, watch the TAS, and you will see that this level could be so much better. But the TAS strategy for this level is, as far as I know, like not replicatable in real life. So we're stuck for climbing. Stuck to climb these burning ropes. At least the music is good. Gotta have them bear coins. They're not useful in any percent, but gotta have them anyway. If you don't have bear coins, how could you possibly consider yourself a worthwhile human being? Didn't mean to take the hit there, but it's not a big deal. Gotta have them bear coins. And now I have Dixie in the lead, so. Mostly I just jump into some of the extra barrels in this level for something to do. Because they're not slower than staying on the rope. The only thing I have to avoid is going into any of the bonuses. As, of course, this category doesn't include bonuses. If you do accidentally enter a bonus, you can usually commit suicide in them pretty quickly and get out, but it's strictly better to avoid bonuses. And the goal is right over to the right here, so we'll hit that fairly quick. I'll let you in that I do not have good eyesight, particularly towards things that are overly dark. So I do turn the brightness up on my TV for this level, and it still doesn't help me all that much. So this level, that was a stupid hit to take. So yeah, this is honestly in my opinion, kind of a poorly designed level. And that was a bad death. So that was a major mistake that cost me probably about 25 seconds, I would think. However much time I was in the level prior to that just went down the drain. Again, taking some weird hits. Hits I normally wouldn't take. The thing about Unguard is you're usually pretty safe as long as you're, for lack of a better term, thrusting. Because Unguard has a really big hurt box. I kind of get stuck in there. I almost accidentally hit the bonus. So yeah, the only problem with this level is even though Unguard is fairly safe, these urchins are very problematic as they can only be hit at certain times. And I'm still flustered about the death. Like, I'm still upset about that death. I know that for sure. So yeah, a lot of this level is just route memorization. And I need to commit to learning the route better rather than playing it as a more reactionary kind of thing. I'm pretty sure I get out of it on this try, though. Okay. That's the last obstacle, is that field, so... that field of urchins. So we do get out of the level. Unfortunately, we get out of the level again with the wrong Kong to start the next level. But we'll get Dixie again fairly quick here in Pothole Panic by just going off to the side here. We switch because Dixie's a better choice to start to play the level with. Unfortunately, I think I lose Dixie earlier than intended and do a part of the level with one Kong. I think I get hit by the second Robin. Yeah, my egg shot hit the ceiling. This is kind of one of those, this is kind of a level where you're intended to use every animal buddy. We only use two, the parrot and the Unguard. And I say the parrot, he has a name, it's Squawks. I don't mean to insult him. So we can skip the elephant. Except for the battle against Squirt, the elephant is not not needed for the run. That was a dumb hit to take with Dixie. Luckily we can get her right back, which is good because we need her for this jump. I don't know if that jump really works with Kitty. And we skip the spider, and we just kind of make a sprint for the goal here. So things are going okay at this point. I've died twice, made some small mistakes. Got a damage boost up here. That is a very useful damage boost. There's actually quite a bit of level off to the side there. That was strange because I jumped and I did not grab. I did not hit the DK barrel, which was a problem. So that death was stupid. Normally I would have grabbed the DK barrel, taken the hit and just been Dixie like I am now. This level is again set up for Dixie due to the ropes. Here you have to be a little bit careful. But other than that mishap, it was a fairly good level. I got the early damage boost, which is important. Now we fight Barbos. First phase, he sends urchins upwards, and you have to hit them back at him, knocking away these purple urchins that kind of serve as his shield. And then poke him. And that's the first hit. There's a trick you can do here where you can actually dash over the purple urchin into his body and then have these missiles follow you and hit the purple urchins. Because I took a hit, I didn't go for it again. I didn't want to take the risk. And there's another death. So that was unfortunate. I think I get it here though. So urchin placement can be important there. If the urchins he spawns aren't placed properly, it's hard to get them to ricochet. So I go over, I go out, and that I went too far over and he swapped, so I did take a hit. However, that's fine, because I can do this last section without taking a hit, no problem. As a kid, you always tend to go back. I always tended to go back down and have to deal with his missiles. But when you stay up, you avoid them entirely, and you put yourself in the proper spot to hit him again. So that is a great way to deal with the third phase. And with that, we open up Chaos Core, the final world of the game. And of all the big time losses in the game, it all happens in here. But I'll let you see that for yourself when it comes. I did want Dixie to start this world, so we did end with the right Kong, which was good. Wasn't 100% sure that I was going to get the bounce on him, which is why I turned backwards and why I ended up picking him up. Dixie's floating makes this level a lot less nightmarish than it can be. We do get Kitty though. I didn't quite set the cycle properly. If I had had a better cycle, I could have zipped through there a lot quicker. But we're still doing that. That was still pretty good. Got about 15 minutes left. This level is one of the first big examples of some RNG that takes place in the game with these barrels. They have certain patterns that they'll spawn in, but the patterns are random. And I jumped the gun. You need the barrels facing specific ways in order to advance through the level, so when they're not giving you a good pattern and they're not the way they need to be when you get there, you can end up wasting a lot of time. Other than that, this is a fairly standard level. If you're impatient and dumb, this can be a level where you can really mess up your run. But it pales in comparison to what we're about to see after this level, which is where The next level is entirely where my pace gets killed. Because at this point I was still thinking I could come in at under an hour. But it just ends up not happening. And a lot of it is due to the next level and the lasting effects of the next level. I was slow on this barrel. I'm gonna bounce on these guys. I could hit that first bee and really rush, but I find it safer to take the second damage boost that you can do there instead. Alright. Favorite level of the game. Lightning Lookout. That was total sarcasm, by the way. So the gimmick, if you don't know, is that there is lightning that kind of tracks you throughout the level. It's mostly random, I find. Like, it does work on like a tracking basis, but it has some issues. Obviously, if you get hit by lightning, you lose a Kong. If lightning hits water while you're in it, you lose a Kong. And the lightning is responsible for a lot of problems. Because a lot of the time the lightning will force you to go at its pace, rather than a good pace. Because you'll notice there's a lot of starting and stopping. There's a lot of like, I go for something and then I have to turn around to avoid a lightning bolt. So that's the first Lightning Lookout death. There's going to be several more. I had my previous personal best before this, which clocked in at 105.17, had a 1 death Lightning Lookout. Or, actually, I think it might have been a first try Lightning Lookout. This is not that, unfortunately. Like I said, this is where the pace of my run died. And a lot of it is my own stupid, impatient fault. But see, I thought I was going to get through it here, but I went for that and it didn't work out. I should have waited. So that was a minute, that was roughly a minute between deaths. So basically by counting the amount of time between deaths is a good indicator of not precisely, but approximately how much time gets wasted because of this level. Sometimes it gets really difficult to turn around. And see, here I thought I had it, and then I went for, I took another risk that I shouldn't have taken. I don't even really know what to say about that one. If anything, I feel like the lightning should have hit my DK barrel. But alas, it didn't, so. Even watching this back now annoys me. So we had our first death in this world roughly around the 52-minute mark of this video. We're now almost at 55 minutes. So yeah, there really was about at this point, and there's another death, so we are about at the 3-minute mark as far as time wasted goes, minus the amount of time between where I that I would have needed to finish the level. But yeah, so we're at least, I would say at least in 3 minutes wasted territory. And the lasting effects of these deaths kind of screws me up later on. There's not much left to screw up, but at this point I'm annoyed. I'm not happy with the game. I'm not happy with what's been happening. And I get a bogus lightning pattern there, as the lightning will not leave me alone. This next level is like made for Dixie, so it's good that we do play Lightning Lookout with the intention of ending with Dixie. And the strat is designed to entail that. I took the halfway barrel just in case. My run, my previous PB had some issues with this level, so I did take that halfway barrel, and it sucked because I needed to go backwards to take it, and in the end it doesn't matter because I don't believe I needed it. I believe I get through the level on the first shot, but at this point I'm trying to preserve any attempt at a good time. And I do PB, so it sort of works out, but I didn't need that halfway barrel. Alright. At this point, I'm looking at my timer, and I'm getting anxious. I want to get this run over with. Unfortunately, that causes me to make some mistakes in this level and take some deaths that I shouldn't have taken. I take hits I don't want to take. I die more than I need to. But these kind of things happen. Here I needed to be higher up. That was a really stupid kind of amateur mistake. I should have been higher up on the screen before I did my charge. I almost died again. So yeah, at this point I'm rushing. And if you don't know the gimmick of this level, Poisonous Pipeline, I can't believe I got hit by that same urchin twice. The gimmick is that my controls are reversed while I'm in this purple water. So left and right are reversed. So I'm playing with reversed horizontal controls. I don't really know what happened there. And somehow I make the same mistake. All I can say to that is, to my past self, what were you doing, you idiot? You should have known that the middle did not work, but you went for it again. What is the matter with your brain? All of these hits are just completely unintended. They're slowing me down. They're making me paranoid that I'm gonna take more, like that I'm gonna die again. And it all contributes to an unfortunate amount of problems. One thing I feel like they did with this level, could have easily died again. Of course I take the halfway barrel because I am just flustered at this point. I think they made this level slightly easy, all things considered. Yes, the end was of incredible importance. I'm just so I'm like at this point I'm sitting here. I am shaking my head at this run. I'm watching this back. I am not enjoying this at this point. Because I've had 8 deaths since Lightning Lookout. But at this point, I'm not resetting the game. There's just no way I'm going to reset at this point. Don't know what I was trying there. So yeah, this is sloppy playing. I mean, I'm not gonna mince words. This is just pure slop. But we're out. We are out of the level. And I think I take 1 death on K. Rool. Because of a mistake I mistake his pattern. But we'll see what happens. Now, if you do this properly, and Chaos goes further back on the screen, it'll spawn the barrel on the right side. So you'll be there. Or on the left side, sorry. You'll be there and you can just get a quick throw. Alright. So now after an hour of game, we finally see K. Rool for the first time. Taking up a new job as a mad scientist. There's some silly dialogue about his wife. And yeah. This battle is very fulfilling when done properly. I say that, but I have not yet finished this properly on a run, like on a full run. But so there are some mistakes. Mainly, I had to spawn an extra barrel in this first stage. Back throwing there near the edge of the platform is a lot easier for like guaranteeing a hit. Hence why we do it. Okay, I don't think I actually do take a death against K. Rool now that I'm watching this back. I lose Dixie though, which slows down this whole process. Here you can just stand under him and it'll hit him. So yeah, here There I got kind of well, yeah. Put myself in a bad spot where K. Rool could easily hit me and couldn't get out. So I lose Dixie and I have to do this section a bit slow. Dixie is much better for this section, but at this point it's pretty simple. I just need to get the barrels. And he's actually got 1 more hit coming up. Which means time. Time in this run is when I grab the bonus coin that he spawns. So right there. So from there, the game clocked in at 123. 26, I believe. And now we have a little cutscene, and yeah. So that is the end of the run. I'll put in a little something here to look at or something. So that was 12 deaths. So many of them were near the end of the run. All packed right in Lightning Lookout and in Poisonous Pipeline. Without those deaths, I probably would have been around 6 minutes faster. So next time I'm going to look on improving that. So yeah, thanks for watching this run. I hope you enjoyed this attempt at post commentary on it. And if you're interested, I stream on Hitbox TV. The URL is www.hitboxtv/irrationalx. And you can also follow my Twitter. It's @GamesAndUs for updates on when I will be streaming. Again, thanks for watching.